Hello to everyone around the country, in fact some people around the planet with AVA. I've just got someone here who's wanting to say hello. This is my dog Toby. So we're talking about strive. The word strive, and I'll put the slides up on that as well, comes from the French word strave, which means to push through and come out the other side. So you're juggling what do you do when we have COVID guidelines, but also the changing nature of your business and then families and lifestyles and everything else in between. So I think this is a very pertinent topic about how you push through and come out the other side. Do you find it easier to talk about your top hits or the A side? Or some people find it easier to talk about the challenging situations that they've gone through as well. So in the chat box, any thoughts, A side or B side, what do you find easier? So a quick Google search shows us some fairly differing views about life as a vet. We know some of the challenging sides in your industry, and as I was talking about my battle as well, picking myself up, we know depression and anxiety is real in your industry. I just want to acknowledge it and give some skills and strategies to really help us with the operating system when we are feeling flat and when we're feeling down. Can I get everyone to take a big breath and metaphorically put on your oxygen mask? And that's a big theme of my presentation tonight, is to look after yourself. Life's going to be busy. Life's always going to change. There's always going to be ups and downs. Now, if you've got a mobile phone, iPhone, or if you've got an Android system, you regularly update the software. So let's just do some basic brain 101. Think of your brain like the hardware, but the software is our mind. And that's the thing working in psychology space that really excites me, because you can train your mind. We're going to look at self-talk. Now, do you realize all of you have around 70,000 thoughts every single day? Storytelling, or that inner dialogue, is perfectly normal. We all do it. The challenge is, for most of us though, you have 10 events in a day, you have 9 things that go really well, and 1 thing goes poorly. What happens when you walk through the door that night? Or if you're working from home, you go from the office or the setup in the garage into the lounge room, and a partner says, "How was your day?" And you go, "Oh, terrible. Let me tell you about the one phone call," or "Let me tell you about this client visit," or you should have seen him cut off in the traffic. Elite athletes at the highest level, it's pretty even with their technical understanding, but what makes a big difference at that pointy end is how they manage themselves under pressure. And a way of summarizing this is, I'll use at the moment real estate. When you're driving around and you're wanting to buy a house or sell a house, you notice every house for sale. Your reticular activating system frames what you're looking for. Now, in a simplistic way, if you're looking at what's wrong, you'll find it. In a simplistic way, if you're looking at what can go right, or strengths in your life, or gratitude, you can also find it. One of the keys is, when you have negative thoughts, rather than spiraling down, I want you to pause, breathe, and just try and be neutral on it. Don't go from negative to positive. It takes too much energy. But do go from negative thinking when you catch yourself and say something like, "This is a perfectly normal part of thinking. We all have negative thoughts." With your self-talk, do you consciously think about the way you think? And I know when I first said this to Thomas, he looked at me, "What?" Well, we all think, but yes, do you consciously think about the way you think? That's one of the keys to striving, is understanding this software, and we can upgrade it. So if I summarize this, the goal we want with our thinking skills is to get towards being optimistic. If you find now you're having more negative thoughts than positive, that's perfectly normal. Stay neutral with those skills I taught you, and then just know that optimism is a reframe, or it's a belief, an expectation that good things will happen and that things will work out in the end. Question: how do you change a habit for the better when you've been stuck in the same rut lifestyle on the same road for many years? What we've got to do is stack the seesaw with what are the positives of making a change and what are the negatives of not making a change. So what are the positives of starting a physical activity program? Well, we're going to lose weight, we're going to feel better, we're going to look better. It's wonderful for our brains, meaning physical activity is the foundation to have a flourishing mind as well. So we've got to stack the seesaw, so there's all these positive, 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 but then be realistic. What are some of the negatives or some of the challenges of not changing? If I pick physical activity, Pete, for an example, it's cold in winter. I don't like fitness, and fitness doesn't like me. You know, I've got injured before when I've done fitness. The habit you know you need to change, when you don't change it, it's actually really hard to coach someone around that because you know it but don't do it. It's much easier to coach someone who doesn't know it but is not doing it because you stack the seesaw and they go, oh yeah. And then the final kicker is link that to your purpose. So one of the great ways to change behaviour is link changing the behaviour to your purpose or to others. So if I summarise the 5 key points from today, number 1 is manage that inner voice. We all have negative thinking, but I've got much better at acknowledging it and not going down that rabbit hole. Number 2, stop playing the same game. What's one thing a number of you are going to do to stop playing the same game? Could be something simple like driving or walking a different route to work. Nurture that growth mindset and acknowledge that, you know, pushing through challenging times is good for us. We've got to build a bit of resilience. We've got to build a bit of grit. You've got to have play, laughter and fun, and the outcome of all that to me is the J word, joy. And number 5 is embrace change. Now if you want to get some more information, I've got loads of content on my website. Go to andrewmay.com and you can watch some videos, read some articles or listen to some of the podcasts we have as well.